Good afternoon. I'm Rachel Maddow. It is 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and you are joining MS Now's ongoing coverage of the United States having apparently started a war with Iran for some reason.
For some reason. Don't you love this?
Your guess, your personal guess, sitting at home watching me right now, your personal guess is as good as any as to why the President of the United States has just started this war.
Oh my God. Wow. Wow.
In terms of pure rational deduction about what he is doing here,
Yeah.
we can basically rule
Is
out
she retarded? Yes.
all of the reasons he has said he's doing it.
Okay, why?
Is Iran on the precipice of having ballistic missiles that can reach the United States? Absolutely not.
How do you know that? Number one. Number two, even if it doesn't reach the United States, they could still be a dangerous for other interests in the area. This is a stupid point she's making. I don't know why you would even say this.
The United States is very far from Iran.
So it's farther away. Oh, okay.
One might even say it's a whole continent away.
Wow.
Which means a ballistic missile launched from Iran to hit us here would have to be an intercontinental ballistic missile. Does Iran
ICBM.
have ICBMs? Does Iran have intercontinental ballistic missiles? No, it does not. And
Not yet. If they did, what do you think they'd do?
there is no known evidence or even serious allegation that Iran is anywhere near developing that technology anytime soon. Even Trump's Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, has recently admitting that the threat is only that maybe, quote, one day Iran might have that kind of capability.
Exactly. And that's why you got to stop it right now. That way it's not even close. Stomp it out right now.
One day, just like you or I might one day learn to fly or to time travel.
You really think that time traveling and flying is as reasonable as Iran being able to get a ballistic missile? God damn, this is embarrassing.
Is Iran a week
Is this really what these people think?
away from industrial grade uranium enrichment, as the president's diminutive real estate friend Steve Witkoff asserted this week when he was
Diminutive real estate friend. This is like another statement made to like delegitimize the statement. Even though the actual IAEA, that's the International Atomic, Environmental Agency or something like that, right? I don't remember exactly. But like they even said that Iran, so like in order to have uranium enriched to, be useful for any sort of like power, it's at like 3 to 15% or something like that. And they detected uranium enrichment at 60%. So you think about 3%, is it 3 to 5? Maybe I remember I added a number, right? It's like 3 to 5%, and then they detected it at 60%. So this is another thing that's like literally not even true.
asked about the Iran talks he is inexplicably part of on behalf of the United States government and the people of the United States, despite his only relevant experience and training being that he is an old real estate friend of President Donald Trump.
This is all more personal attacks and delegitimization. There's no actual thinking or argumentation that's happening here. 60 to 90 is super easy to do. 90 is for a nuke. Well, and it's also that you can probably make a nuclear weapon below 90, but it might just it's basically a dirty bomb. That was the main concern that they had, too.
Is Iran, as Steve Witkoff says, a week away from achieving industrial-grade uranium enrichment for their nuclear program?
I'm sure you know this answer better than he does. Why don't you tell us?
No, they are not.
Okay, well, thank God. Now we have this random person telling us that they're not. Okay, good.
No, they are not. Not only has there been no American or international evidence or intelligence made public.
That's not even true, by the way. As I said, the IAEA already detected that they were enriching uranium way past that.
That suggests even that they are doing that. But even the Trump administration says explicitly that that is not happening. Marco Rubio on Wednesday at a press conference in St. Kitts and Nevis told reporters, quote, "They are not enriching right now."
Guys, Guys, they're not doing it at this very moment. That means it's probably not going to happen.
So why is this happening? Have we just started?
And also, like, has it ever occurred to you that one of the reasons why they're not enriching is because we blew up their facility? Duh.
A war with Iran because they have got some advanced nuclear.
And we've also gone and killed their scientists, too. And Israel has mainly done that.
Program that's rushing toward a bomb? Ask President Donald Trump, who insists that the last time he ordered the bombing of Iran in June, that, quote, totally obliterated their nuclear program.
Yes.
It's hard to say that anything totally obliterated, gone, pulverized, erased from the earth might now suddenly be back again. And so, therefore, a war must urgently start today.
This is just embarrassing. It really is. It's an embarrassing line of argumentation, and it's sad to see that this is what, passes for, like, mainstream media nowadays. It's the idea that, do you remember, like, whenever we nuked Japan, and now Japan is this massive, sprawling, huge economic powerhouse, and it's one of the most profitable and prosperous countries in the world? It's so embarrassing to see somebody talk like this. It really is.
So what are we doing here?
It's mainstream propaganda.
It's not that they're about to get us with
mainstream propaganda.
Intercontinental
You're
ballistic missiles. It's not that they are enriching uranium to such a degree that it is dangerous and we must stop that.
That's already been discussed.
It's not that their nuclear program, which Trump says he obliterated, has somehow unobliterated itself and is now a pressing danger again. What
do you think that, like, I mean, how many times have we, like, all you need to do is you can do a very simple Google search or an AI search for the amount of times that America and Israel have taken decisive action, either with cyber attacks, obviously bombings, or killing scientists in the Iranian nuclear program. And this has happened over 20 times. So, like, this entire concept that they're not going to stop doing it is reinforced by every single other time that we tried to stop them and they kept doing it.
Did we just go to war with Iran? The president has said a couple of times in recent days that he just wants the Iranian government to say the words that they are not.
Why did the leftists never talk about the protesters that are killed? Because they're ideologically captured.
Pursuing a nuclear bomb, suggesting that if they would just say that, that would be enough to stop the United States from starting a war with them. Well,
that's
the
obviously not true.
Iranian government actually, over and over again, keeps saying that they are not developing a nuclear bomb. They will say it.
But they said they're not building the bomb. Wait. Well, yeah, I know they're enriching uranium and they say they want to kill us and everything, and they're trying to hire new scientists and they're buying new centrifuges. But no, they said they're not going to make the bomb. Oh, my God.
Whenever you like. They say it whenever they are asked. So that does not...
Isn't it scary that these people can vote? That's such a huge problem.
...not appear to be the reason either.
Jesus.
So why do you think President Donald Trump has just done this? Why do you think he has just started a war with Iran? Is it because his heart bleeds empathetically on a human level for the protesters in Iran who have been killed by their own government in such huge numbers in January and February of this year?
No, it's not just January and February. It's been dialed up in January and February. If you go against the Iranian government, if you leave Islam, if you do 50 other things, they also kill you, and they've been doing that all the time. There's like the normal amount of their citizens that are killing, and this is an elevated number of citizens that are killing. They usually don't kill this many of their citizens at the same time.
Because Donald Trump really feels for the Iranian people? Is it because his heart throbs with a passionate support?
She's obviously being facetious here to make Donald Trump look like a bad guy, that he doesn't actually care about the Iranians. It's obviously what she's
for the
doing.
Right of free speech and the right of people everywhere to protest against their own government and not face violence because of it. Is that what you think? If so, good morning. I hope you have slept well for this past decade in which you've been dead to the world. But, I mean...
Yeah, he's stupid. He has no idea, right?
Suspend disbelief for a moment.
Hello?
Just suppose that the reason the United States of America has just started this war with Iran is Because, as the president said today in his weird pre-recorded video message in a baseball hat and a suit jacket that the White House released at 2:30 in the morning, the president...
Well, yeah, they released it at 2:30 in the morning because that's whenever the strikes happened. Like, duh. Like, this is the kind, like, this is what these people do. They're so dishonest. It's unbelievable how just blatantly and plainly dishonest they are. Yeah, they released it at 2:30 in the morning because that's when the strikes happened. Duh. He pre-recorded it because he was in the Situation Room running the fucking operation when the strikes happened. Like, how do you even... This is... Oh my God. How can you be this dishonest and this stupid?
It said in that stilted, strange statement, squinting at the camera with his eyes shaded by the gigantic white hat he was wearing.
This is, again, more, this is like theater kid alliteration in order to make a point that's not real, that's going to make a bunch of the stupid people that watch this show try to think, oh yeah, that's so true.
He said that he's doing...
It's so pathetic, isn't it?
This because he wants the people of Iran to rise up and overthrow their despotic government.
Which is good.
At his instruction.
Yes, which is a good thing. At his, wait a second, at his instruction. No, this is something that they were trying to do. And the reason why they're trying to do this, as you mentioned earlier, is the fact that they were getting killed by the government. They were trying to do this for months and they were getting massacred. That's why Iran turned off the internet, is so they could massacre and genocide their own people for speaking out against them.
And maybe they will.
What a disgusting thing to say.
Maybe they will try. But Iran is a huge, complex country. It is.
It's a big country.
92 million people. That is more than triple the population of Iraq or Afghanistan when we started our disastrous regime change wars in those two countries 2 decades ago. Iran has considerable regular military forces, but it also has a huge Revolutionary Guard force, which has effectively its own army, its own navy, its own intelligence service, its own special forces. It also plays a huge role in the massive, suffocating, brutal domestic security services that are happy to terrorize the Iranian people in the best of times and to massacre the Iranian people in the worst of times, which they have done in the last 8 weeks.
Exactly.
The Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps has massive economic interests. They have a huge hold on multiple sectors of the Iranian economy.
Yeah, that's the problem. And
to state the obvious, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps is not the kind of force that's going to go poof if a dumb...
Yeah, they are. If you drop a bomb on this area, they go poof. That's how it works. You do that 5 or 6 times, the rest of them are going to run away. What do you mean? This is the same kind of person that says you can't just go poof and get Maduro. Yeah, you can. Of course you can.
Donald Trump airstrike manages to kill Iran's supreme leader. If they do kill the supreme leader, which appears maybe to be what they tried to do earlier today, then what will happen? I mean, this isn't Venezuela. There's no vice Ayatollah who's going to step in and take over the top job, except she'll take calls from Marco Rubio. Right? What will happen then?
I love how they say this, what's going to happen, even though what's going to happen was very readily outlined and defined multiple times. They've already said what's going to happen 50 times. You didn't listen.
If you voted for Donald Trump for president because you believed the hype that he was America first, that he was against foreign wars, that he was definitely against regime change wars in foreign country, well, again, good morning. I hope you slept well. But the president in this case says explicitly that this is a war we are waging for regime change.
Good. Good.
And the existing leader, Khamenei, who has been in place since 1989. There is no other person of that stature to just pop in place?
Yeah, actually there is. Khamenei's, so this is another thing that's, this is another just thing that's just simply not true. Basically, Khamenei has, and the Iranian government has, a support level that is even lower than Maduro's. Inside of, and this, it's very hard to measure this because it's a country that's oppressive that kills you if you disagree with them. But if you look at independent polling, you'll see that the percentage of people that support the Iranian government is about 15 to 20% of people, right? It's a very, very low percentage of people. And if you compare that to the support for Raza Pahlavi, I think that's how I say his name, which is the crown prince, the son of the Shah that was exiled, his support in the by the Iranian people is at about 30 or maybe 35%. That's the last time that I checked. So not only is that not true, but I don't even know if he's the second most popular. It's just not even true. Like, I don't know. How do you go on mainstream media and say this? You don't even know what you're talking about.
And say, okay, it's done. We've made that change.
And also keep in mind the 30 to 35% is the floor. And the 10 to 15% is the ceiling. Because everybody that didn't probably report that they don't like the government, that actually, sorry, if you're reporting that you like the government and that you don't like it or whatever, you're doing that because you're afraid of being killed for saying that you don't like the government. Versus all of the people that are saying they support the crown prince, every single person that says that is threatened with death if they say that. So logically, that is an underrepresented group, and logically, the people that support the Iran government is an overrepresented group based off of the exterior and external sources and influences. It's just logical. It's common sense.
And so if you really did want the Iranian people themselves to rise up in some kind of popular uprising and totally change their form of government, if you wanted the beleaguered and oppressed Iranian people to organize very quickly into a new populist political force to rise up against, among other things, the security services.
It's calling it a populist political force is another, it's more verbal sleight of hand, because they always call Trump a populist. And what they're doing is they're trying to create a verbal continuity and consistency behind the Iranian protests and Trump, and basically giving a implicit ownership of Trump of the Iranian protests by using the same vocabulary to describe both of them.
There that have been massacring them by the thousands this month and last. It's
so manipulative. Yeah, that's just what these people are. They're just, and the thing is that there's a lot of people that watch this that aren't discerning and they don't see that. But for some reason, they just, it makes me very mad because I view this as very low level manipulation. This is low level manipulation, and I think that Americans deserve better propaganda. This is honestly pathetic.
Wanted that to happen, you probably could have taken some steps to help that happening.
Yes.
To make sure they can organize and can communicate.
He has. And so is Elon Musk. Are you gonna give a shout out to Elon Musk for giving Starlink to Iran for free? Oh, let me guess. You're not. You're probably not going to mention that at all. Because you don't actually care about the Iranians that are getting massacred. You just care about something that makes Donald Trump look bad, or something that makes Elon Musk look bad. If 50,000 Iranians die, it doesn't mean anything to them. Starlink did absolutely nothing, by the way, but they tried.
Right? Maybe you would have turned the internet back on. Mm-hmm. And when you, Donald Trump, in your baseball hat, proclaimed on that weird taped message today that the Iranian police and the security forces and the Revolutionary Guard must surrender, they must lay down their weapons, as Donald Trump said this morning at 2:30.
This is what we saw this part.
If that was what you wanted to happen, because you wanted the domestic security situation to become less dangerous for the Iranian people to rise up and overthrow their government. If you actually wanted to make that happen, instead of just saying it, you, as the U.S. government, maybe you, as the U.S. government in coalition with other allies that you might have bothered to bring on board, you might have given the Iranian police...
We did bring on allies. That's why Saudi Arabia and all these other countries immediately took our side.
And Revolutionary Guard and security services some instructions on how to surrender. And
yeah, this is why I said earlier, put your hands up and walk away from the gun. So, like, what do you mean? You have to give them instructions on how to surrender? What do you think? They don't know how to surrender? Oh, my God.
Lay down their weapons. Some path to do that, which Trump did not.
He actually, by the way, by killing their military leadership, he did give them that. Because now they don't have that central state of command. And so it's easier for them to mutiny and step away from the government because they don't have that consolidated power structure. If you cut off the head of the snake, it's easier for the different groups of those people to fracture off and then not follow orders because you've disconnected the chain of command. It's just, this is not even true.
As I say, you might have taken steps to turn the internet back on in Iran. So the people there, the Iranian people could reach each other and the world. And so the world could reach them too. If you actually wanted the Iranian people...
I'm assuming doing that would probably require a boots on the ground operation. And so, like, this is the issue, is like these people create a catch-22. They say, well, you need to go turn the internet back on, but you also can't have boots on the ground. Okay, well then it's a lose-lose. Either you're right or I'm wrong. It's just retarded.
To have a chance rising up against the regime that has oppressed them for so many decades. You might not have gutted the crucial Farsi language Voice of America communications platform and put it in the hands of a soft-focus election denier local news anchor who is...
The Farsi-focused election, this is, again, it's another misunderstanding intentional. It says something that's literally nothing to do with it. To gut staff of Voice of America, U.S.-funded organizations. Again, maybe it was being misrun for another reason.
Most famous for proclaiming the fraudulence of American elections.
Yes.
If this is a regime change war, as Trump says...
It is. It literally is. He says it. Everybody says it. We all know this.
It is. Because Trump is seriously hoping the Iranian people will complete the job for him.
Yeah, that's correct. They've asked him to do this. And I think it's important that she's not adding in this context. They're painting Trump's name on the walls. They're begging Trump to come and help them. Yeah, that's the whole point. Duh.
It is worth knowing that there has been no serious or even unserious effort by the United States to make it possible, let alone plausible, for any uprising by the Iranian people to succeed.
What if I told you that bombing them... wait a minute. So you're making... Okay, so let me get this straight. So you're making this video because America is bombing the leadership and destroying Iran's military capabilities and decapitating their military leadership. So, the military is totally disjointed and it's not organized anymore. And now you're complaining that they're not helping the Iranian people? If they weren't helping the Iranian people, you wouldn't be making this video. This is so sad.
And so why did Donald Trump just start this war? Why is this happening? Cui bono, right? Who benefits? It's always useful to start that question in any country.
Yeah.
Who benefits? Who wants Iran bombed off the map and for their own reasons?
Pretty much everybody except for Iran. Yeah, pretty much everybody.
Who are Iran's rivals and enemies? Perennially, it's the Gulf Arab states, countries like Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates and Qatar. Qatar, the country that just gave Donald Trump a really, really nice $400 million plane, really a gilded flying palace.
Great. Maybe we can finally move past this Middle Eastern war thing. Maybe we can finally stop having these endless wars in the Middle East where we're killing people over there. Finally, maybe we can stop this rather than continuing. And this is the problem that American media has like this, is that they act like they're anti-war, but they are unable to ever move past the previous grudges. Like, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, everything. We've had problems and conflicts with these people. When is it going to end? Well, maybe it already did. And for some reason, they're not happy about that. And also, by the way, this was gifted to the United States government, not to Donald Trump personally. So this is also another misrepresentation again.
For his own use, both during his presidency and after Trump plans to.
That's a projection.
To take that plane with him and keep using it after he leaves office, if he ever leaves office.
He never said that he did that. He never said that at all. And the basis on that is a total, what's the word for it? It is a extrapolation.
And you remember United Arab Emirates, famous for recently structuring a totally pointless crypto financial transaction so that $2 billion of it would be stuffed into the Trump family's otherwise worthless brand new crypto financial firm. And of course, you remember the Saudis, who stuffed another $2 billion into the pockets of Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, just as Trump's first term in office came to a close. You might remember enough people were alarmed about that when it happened that the Trump folks actually sort of bothered to come up with an excuse for what made that okay. They said, don't worry, Jared will never again work for the U.S. government. He's never coming back to Washington. Okay. So it's okay that he's taken all this money from the Saudis now. We will never have to worry.
Yeah, we do a lot of business in the Middle East. That's obvious. Anybody who does international business is probably doing business in the Middle East. Yeah, I mean, this is just what happens. This has nothing to do with Iran.
About having somebody involved in U.S. policy who has also just been given billions of dollars by Saudi Arabia, apparently for no reason. Well, that was the explanation.
And by the way, none of this is actually an argument against attacking Iran. I want you guys to understand this. So, now what she's doing here is she's creating a personal insinuation that Trump is corrupt. He got bribed by Saudi Arabia to bomb Iran, and that's the reason why he's doing this. This actually has nothing to do on whether you're not at any point in this video. She has not made a case for why it is a good or a bad idea to bomb Iran. If anything, she's only made a case that it's a good idea, talking about the protesters that they killed. And so the only thing that she's hanging on to are Trump implications that are like personal attacks that then she hopes that the audience will extrapolate into it being a bad faith policy decision. That's what she's doing.
Took all that money from the Saudis at the end of Trump's first term. And now today, who has been leading the negotiations on behalf of the United States government with Iran before we just started this war with them today?
Jared Kushner.
I mean, Secretary of State Marco Rubio was in St. Kitts this week. It wasn't him.
Yeah.
No, it was Jared Kushner.
Yes.
The president's son-in-law. Recently paid billions of dollars by Iran's chief rival, and nevertheless sitting there alongside Trump's tiny real estate friend, Steve Witkoff, who has sought recently to improve his considerable family fortunes by going to Qatar to seek money from its sovereign wealth fund.
Yeah. This has nothing to do with whether it's a good idea to attack Iran or not. This is more personal implications and creating a link that could or could not be there. Even if they get, even if all of these things are true, this is what I find to be funny about this, is that even if all of these things are true, and there's no way you can prove or disprove this one way or another, it's impossible. But the one thing that is certain is that this has nothing to do on to whether Iran is a good target to attack or not. That's it.
Weird that those talks didn't work,
Nothing to do with it. Mm-hmm.
It's like if you were having a backyard dispute with your neighbor, hey, your new fence crosses over on the crosses the property line, comes over into my yard. That tree you just cut down, that hedge you just cut down, hey, that was mine. You're having a neighborly dispute with your neighbor on your block. And the cops break down your door with a battering ram. They arrest you and your whole family. They ransack your house, and then they light it afire and bulldoze it. And they tell your neighbor, hey, it's all done. You can take his whole backyard, and you can take his house now, too. And as you're trying to figure out why this has just happened, you come to learn that your neighbor has been paying massive bribes to the police in your town. Oh, that's what's going on.
So now she's just coming out and saying that. Instead of the implication, now she's acting on as if the implication is accurate. And she not once has she mentioned at all that the Iranian people have asked Trump to intervene. She has not talked about that at all. She hasn't put any coverage at all about the Iranian people thanking Trump for intervening. Nothing about this at all. It's about an implication.
I mean, there's a lot of attention on Israel, and indeed Israel and the United States have worked together in the bombing campaign.
Yeah, we obviously
not only the one that started today, but the campaign against Iran in June. But it is the Gulf Arab states who are arrayed against Iran, who want Iran removed as their regional rival.
Good. Yeah, I think that they should. Iran funds terrorism that fucks up all of their stuff, and it fucks up our stuff because we buy their stuff. And if it's fucking up their stuff and then we're buying their stuff, then it makes it cost more money. Jesus Christ, what a stupid bitch. I can't believe anybody takes this seriously. It's really shocking to see this because, like, the reason why I wanted to cover that and talk about it is to just show you guys how just blatantly dishonest and, in a lot of these cases, just flat out wrong these people are. They're saying things that are just factually untrue. It's like this is not even it's not even something that happened. They're just making up these things the entire time. It's fake news. Exactly. It's total fake fucking news. You have to be dumb to take it seriously. Exactly. And so that's why I want to call it out, is that people like her are just absolute fucking retards. And I actually don't think that she's stupid. I think that she's just lying. She is engaging in absolute pinnacle dishonesty. She is lying through implication. She's lying directly. And she's also lying in, just basically the way that she's representing the facts and also selectively omitting other facts. Things like, for example, the Iranian people asking for Trump to do this. Things, for example, that there are plenty of other countries in Europe that also don't want Iran to have nuclear weapons. Like, there's a million other examples. Oh, them funding terrorism. Did she even mention the fact that Iran funds terrorism? No, she didn't, as far as I remember. And I wonder why. It's because she's trying to create a narrative. And that narrative, the focus around that narrative is not around what's best for the American people. It's not around what's best for the Iranian people. It's around what's worst for Donald Trump. And that's the entire focus. It's not about whether this is a good decision or not. She never made a single argument about whether this is actually beneficial for us one way or another. It's just creating implications and assumptions based off of that, and then selective reporting data, and then also misrepresenting it. That's what happens.